Have you ever stopped to think about your own DNA? Well, that's just what we're about to do. I have DNA and you have DNA, so let's talk about it. DNA, what is it? Who discovered it? Where did it come from? Can you see it with your own eyes? Is it blue? Is it purple? Is it rainbow colored? Do we all have it? Do animals have it? So many questions. The first thing that I want to share with you are some important people in the history of DNA. The first two people who I am going to tell you about are super important. I repeat, they are super important. Their names are James Watson and Francis Crick. I repeat, James Watson and Francis Crick. Were their names James Crick and Francis Watson? Nope. James Watson and Francis Crick. I can't fool you, smarty pants. I have a feeling you want to know what made these two men so important. Well, in 1953, James Watson and Francis Crick made the first model of DNA from an X-ray that was taken from two other scientists whose names were Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins. I repeat, Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins. What were their names? Great job. One more scientist who is important in the history of DNA is Erwin Chargaff. I repeat, Erwin Chargaff. What did he do, you ask? Well, he was the person who discovered the very parts that make up DNA. Do you know what the parts of DNA are? I'll give you a second to think about it really hard. What did you come up with? Take a moment to share with your neighbor. DNA is composed of 4 major parts. Let's just call these the DNA puzzle pieces. The DNA puzzle pieces all fit together in special ways, and some pieces do not fit with other pieces. These 4 major puzzle pieces are called adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. Big words I know, but you can memorize them. Here, I'll say them one more time. Adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. If you can't remember those big words, just remember A, C, G, and T. What are they again? Great job! DNA is made up of these 4 puzzle pieces in almost equal parts. The special part is that only adenine and thymine fit together, while cytosine and guanine only fit together. I like to remember that adenine and thymine, letters A and T, which have straight lines, fit together, and cytosine and guanine, letters C and G, which have curves, fit together. Trace the letters on the palm of your hand, and then it will really make sense. Now, you might be asking, what does DNA really do? Does it just sit there and look pretty? Absolutely not. DNA is super important, and it plays a huge role in all of us. I like to think of DNA as a storage space inside of us. It holds lots of genetic information that is vital to all people and organisms. DNA is shaped like a twisted ladder, which is called a double helix in fancy science lingo. The rungs on the ladder are made up of the 4 puzzle pieces that we talked about earlier. Do you remember what those are? Exactly! Adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. You're doing great! We have learned so much about what DNA is, what it's composed of, and some very important people in its history. I hope you had fun and enjoyed learning with me.